Hey, what's going on? This is Jay from Thy Will Be Done, and this is MetalTillDeath.com.
All right, guys, we are here at Jaxx with Jay from Thy Will Be Done. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, we just saw the show. It was a great show, man. How's things going with you guys?
I can't complain. So far, so good. You know, no bunions, knock on wood. I'm doing all right. I can't really complain. You know, the road's been good. I'm having a blast, and tour's going amazing.
Very cool, very cool. Now, what are you guys out supporting right now on the road?
We're actually supporting one of the very end of our album cycle for In Ancient of Days. That album came out June of '09, and we've just been on the road, you know, supporting that record out on Stillborn. So having a blast. So it's
Cool,
good time.
man. Now, this tour is a pretty good package, man. Fear Factory, you got Prong, Who's Legends. I mean, you guys feel like you know this is like one of the best tours you've ever been on?
You know what? Definitely, it's one of our faves. You know, it's great. I never thought like we'd be out with some of our favorite bands. I mean, we're definitely influenced and inspired by both Prong and Fear Factory. And I think Fear Factory is one of those bands that not enough bands cite as an influence. I hear them in a lot of bands today, and even bands like even within the past 10, 12 years. And it's cool to see that they're doing their thing and they're still doing it, and people are coming out and respect it. It's just I wish some more bands would cite them as an influence.
Right.
That's my only gripe.
Okay.
You know who you are.
All right. Well, with that, man, what do you think is like two things? What do you think is like one of the things that's wrong with the scene today, and what do you think is one of the things that's going right with the scene?
Downloading illegally. Right. It is stealing. I don't care what you say. Do I sit outside of Starbucks buying their coffee from them or getting it as a gift, hang out outside the establishment making coffee for people and giving it away for free before they come into the establishment? It's the same thing. I don't care how you cut it. I don't care how you dice it. It's hurt everybody. Right. And I don't care what anybody says. It's single-handedly one of the worst things. It's worse than bank robbery, and yet the FBI is not involved in illegal downloading as they are with bank robberies or anything else, or God forbid, a conglomerate corporation is doing. I don't even get into it.
Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think they're not? Why do you think they're not stepping in?
Well, because it's probably not as high of a priority for them. Unfortunately, it's not seen as a major source of income in their eyes, but yet it is. I mean, like how many people are losing money? You want to complain about the economy, but yet you've got people who are out there legitimately stealing, and you're not doing anything about it. Like, I just don't buy that. There's always problems out there.
Okay.
What can you do?
Well, let me build on that for a second, because we were talking to Dino about this on the bus. The whole state of the economy, the whole economic scene, or whatever you want to call it. Do you think this is like, they're making it worse out than it really is? Do you think we're being controlled? Do you think it's meant to go down this? Because I'm a big conspiracy theorist person right now. So let me get your thoughts on that.
Well, obviously, I think there are always going to be people who are in power, no matter what you call it, whether you call it a democracy or what have you. There's going to be people who are going to be in control of things. There are going to be things that the general public aren't going to find out about. There's going to be things that people aren't going to know. I, for one, I start arguments, and I don't mean to. I don't think we're ever on the moon. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, do the homework, please. No, we're on the moon. Yeah, right, okay, yeah. Like, why isn't there a Starbucks on the moon? Please, people. We'd be charging people to go back to the moon,
Dude,
right?
Why isn't there a Starbucks on the moon?
Because we've never been. It was a matter of national security. We wanted our adversaries. We wanted people to think we were there before them. So anyway, using that as my platform, I think there are certain things that we will or will not let people know as a matter of national security, and I think it's evolved into other things. And I unfortunately think that corporations have more rights than people right now, and
They do.
And it's thrown the balance out. That economic expansion can only go so far before it crumbles. I mean, like I was saying tonight, what makes us think we're any different than an empire like Rome? You can only do so much. Once greed takes over, that's the problem.
That's where, and for those of you that are watching and don't know what happened, that's where I wanted to touch on. What was that rant about that you were giving on stage, man? Where did that come from? Why did you decide to go that route?
Well, you know what? I mean, especially tonight. Tonight was an extra cathartic set for me. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, people.
Preach it, brother.
I'm not going to lie to you. Here's the deal. Between last night and this morning, I keep myself busy, read a lot, online, books, whatever. With everything going on with BP and the executives and the oil spill, it just bothers me when more people are concerned with a bad call in a baseball game versus an oil spill that's impacting so much in our environment. But yet we're going to worry about these minuscule things, in my opinion, just throwing it out there. And I think that's where there's a problem is, as a society, we've lost sight of what's really important. We don't care. It's consumption. It's all it is. We want more of this. We want more of that. It's greed. Our lust for comfort has just gone off the wayside. And that's my biggest problem is like, once you let greed take over, it's the beginning of the end. And I think we're finally reaping what we've sown as a society.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that I was going to say is that the next thing is I think everybody's worried more about paying their bills and buying cars and stuff instead of that, things like that, and we're going to lose all our freedoms, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're slowly been losing it because people care less and less to get involved with the government in their decision making, with anything that's going on, because it's easier to sit back and just say, well, it's gonna exist, it's gonna do its thing. Well, if you keep that attitude and you don't care, then yeah, things are gonna start happening, and then you're gonna go, well, how come? Why is this and why is that? Well, you weren't involved. You didn't voice your opinion. You didn't care. You didn't stand up for your rights. You didn't take the time to analyze a situation and say, hey, how can I make this right? Because this is wrong, X, Y, and Z. It's easier to sit back and just forget about it. That's the problem. People are too comfortable, and they don't want to go without. And so it's easier to say, no, I'm going to take the kids in the SUV, go to Baby Gap, buy a bunch of clothes that were manufactured overseas that took the jobs away from our people, and then complain that there's no jobs. But yet I'm going to go to Wally World and spend more money on more goods that were manufactured elsewhere. Really? Do you see the vicious cycle here? It's your fault.
It's your fault, man. Very cool. Where do I go from there, dude? I have no idea. So is this using your platform when you're on the stage every night? Is this something that you're educating people about? Do you like when you have fans come up to you and talk to you, do you tell the people this?
Normally, no. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. Tonight was, like I said, an extra cathartic set just because of the stuff that I had been reading as of late, between last night and this morning. Just really got me fired up. Yes, lyrically, if you read the lyrics, they're not preachy. It's a lot of social awareness, just like getting people to open their minds and see things from a different perspective. It's not about like, hey, do this, do that, do this. I'm not going to tell somebody what to do. It's more of like, hey, do you ever think about looking at it from this perspective? What about this? Hey, did you notice this? Social awareness. That's what it's about for me.
All right. Now, do you do most of the songwriting for the band?
Well, we all contribute when we write songs. I also play guitar, so I help write a lot of the music too with the other guys. I write all the lyrics, and I do 98% of the arrangements, so very involved. Okay. We're all involved.
What would you say, like, when you guys sit down to write, where do you guys go into you guys get together and throw out ideas, or is it something that you come up with individual?
No, we individually can come up with ideas, like, hey, I've got this part, I've got this riff, I've got this idea, or sometimes we just jam as a band, when it's not a collective effort, rather a separate effort, more of a collective effort where everyone just kind of like starts jamming off an idea or whatever, and then it just grows into something. We're pretty traditional in a sense where when we're home, we have a rehearsal space, we get together, we jam. So,
all right, cool. What's next for you guys, man?
Let's see. After this Fear Factory, like I said, we've been out since. Wow, I don't even remember. It's been so long. So yeah, after this run, we're home for a little bit. Supposed to do some South America dates, go back to Japan, hopefully go back to Europe, keep writing for the next record, and then do some fall runs in the U.S. again. Like I said, we're on the Fear Factory run now. We just did the Devil Driver run before that. Okay. Haybreed run before that with Crowbar, and just trying to go back to know how. Yeah, so we've been out for a while now. Okay. So just like ever since our first record came out at the end of '07, we've just been on the road for like collectively a good stretch of 3 years. So.
Okay, cool. One of the questions that I always touch on when I interview guys is, what do you think about the spiritual aspect of metal, like bands like As I Lay Dying and those type of bands? Do you think that God has a place in heavy metal, or is it something that people should kind of keep to themselves, or do you think artists have the right to sing about what they want to sing about?
Well, yeah. I mean, who am I to tell any artist like you can't express yourself? I mean, isn't that the point of art?
Right.
And that's it. I mean, it's up to a listener, it's up to a fan of music to decide, you know, what inspires them, what influences them. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there who doesn't want to understand or doesn't appreciate or maybe doesn't like what I have to say about social awareness, and that's cool. I respect that, you know, and that's what it's about. It's about, as a listener, deciding what inspires you, or not deciding what inspires you, but being inspired, or if it doesn't inspire you. You know, I'm sure yourself, you're inspired by, you know, a band. You know, you hear something like, wow, that's great, you know, whether it's a lyric or a sound or whatever. And that's really what it's about. So, I mean, to say, like, people don't have a place, I don't think that's necessarily fair, because I'm not going to close my view, my perspective that way. I'm going to keep an open mind to everything. You know, whether I agree or disagree doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, at the end of these things, I like to turn the mic over to the person now. That's what I do. And you know, you take it over. Say what you want to say, man. This is. So it's all yours, man.
It's all me. What do I get to do?
Whatever you want to say, man. If you got something.
No, just kidding. I guess, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you so much. Normally,
I like to tell people here, there, everywhere, if I had a cowbell, maybe I'd play it. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Either way, caught it. It's a great time. I gotta tell you, if I were a horse, I'd be riding through a field somewhere. But I'm not a horse. I'm a man. And there you go.
Yeah, no, I have fun. It's all my music's about. It's just having fun and trying to open some minds. That's all it's about. So no matter what your lifestyle is, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter, you know. As long as you're good to people and you're not a jerk, it's all that matters.
Behind this tire is an axle, okay? These axles broke on the last tour. The first repair was over $500, okay? Only an hour later, be down the road, they got wiped out again because the guy screwed up. Cost us another $550. So now we're up to, do the math, America, $1,050 on some axles, right? Yeah, we're not making enough to cover that. So, it's gotta come from somewhere, right? Okay, cool.
Go buy a damn CD, for crying out loud.
You just saw what happens, and you'll see more of it in the film coming up. So, Jay, again, what's the next thing you guys going on?
As soon as we get home from this Fear Factory tour, we're home for a little bit, then we go to South America, and then we go back to Japan, and just keep writing for the next record.
Okay. Was it you guys on MySpace, or you got your own site?
Yep, you can find us on myspace.com/ThyWillBeDoneMetal. You can find us on Facebook/ThyWillBeDone, and we're also on Twitter, TWBD.
Do you tweet?
I tweet all
He tweets. Man, you're like a man of many talents.
I am a man of many talents, let me tell you. Yes.
Cool. All right. We're out of here. We will see you next time.